Daddy's proud.
Sexy.
Cody, big boy. He is your son.
He is my son, isn't it obvious? He's got my hair.
Give it back.
Okay. He was talking about, I gave, it's odd, my son gave me the message that I gave to my homeless church this morning, and we started talking about that being happy. And on the TV you see a picture of a brother and sister that me and Vic ran into in Ecuador. This young man, if you notice, he's smiling a lot. And Vic, how old was he? 10, 11?
Yeah.
Maybe a little older than that, but somewhere in there. And this kid worked all day long for what?
A bucket.
Vic and everybody else started giving him money, though. He didn't expect any of it. He was just happy in life. Realistically, these people don't have the things we have. They don't have an iPod, a cell phone. They don't have the coolest clothes. They don't have anything. But what they do have, Kyle, can you hit the next picture? They have Jesus. And they have God watching over them. And they've started to understand the thing that we in America forgot. The greatest thing we have, you can't buy. You can't own. It's your salvation. It's your love for God. And when you take your eyes off of God and you start fixing your eyes upon things that you can buy or trade or sell, and listen, we all love them. And I pray that God blesses you immensely in your life. But don't let your happiness hinge upon that. Because you know what? Even when you feel like you're poor, you are blessed in so many ways. And my homeless people, I made them go around and start talking about the way that they've been blessed in the year that I've known them, in the year that we've started this service. And I'm telling you, I look at these homeless people, and I've seen how they've grown so much. Not all of them, but a certain percentage of them. They're in a home now. Over half of them live in an apartment. Over 3/4 of them now have a job. They're drinking less beer. A couple of them are actually signed up for rehab. They're coming a long way, and when they started thinking about the things they don't have, not like you guys. You guys never think you don't have anything, right? I mean, I'm talking about homeless people who don't have things. All of a sudden they got excited about the things they have. And it wasn't anything they could buy because they don't have money. But I read on this, it's a prayer by Kenneth Pfeiffer. And it's a book called Uncommon Prayer. Let me read it to you. And think about this before I read this. Let me back up a little. There was this lady who used to come to this church who I poured a lot of my life into, and she left for a while. And one day I trapped her in my office. She came to get something, and I asked her this question: where were you in life before you started coming here? Because she had stopped coming. And I wanted her to reflect on what her life was like before Jesus. And sometimes we need to remember that. Because we get complacent where we're at in our walk and our faith, and we figure, screw it. Until we start to realize where we were at before we walked in that door. Or any church door. Think about this. I didn't expect the sorrow that was thrust upon me. I was surprised by the turn of events that changed my life. I look back and I remember how different it was just a year ago. The slow, quiet erosion of the days gone by. I'm not quite the same person as I was, for better or for worse. I've had a whole year to grow in love, in and out. To turn my hands to constructive tasks or to turn away in idleness. I've had a whole year. No matter what I've done or what I failed to do. Oh Lord, keep me from dwelling on it too much. If I have failed, help me put my failures behind me. And if I've done well, help me be glad but not complacent. There are other hills to climb, new hopes to be realized. I know, oh God, you understand my need and look back for a while, wistfully peering into the past. But start me looking forward. I do not want to know what events lie ahead, but I know you're there, and I'm grateful. Listen, some of you guys have maybe, especially where you guys are at, your junior high years are totally different than mine. And honestly, a lot of times, I feel bad for you guys. I see when your heart broke, when you feel let down, that somebody of the opposite sex doesn't like you, or you feel like you're not smart enough, or cool enough, or this or that. And I can see behind your mask how you feel. But I gotta tell you, don't worry about it. I know each and every one of you guys, and you know what? You're really cool. You really are. And you know what? The people who don't like you, it's okay. You don't have to please everybody, and you're not going to make everybody happy. And don't try to make people happy. There's only one person you need to make happy, and he's not a person, he's a God. And that's where you need to keep your focus. Realizing, you know what, in South America, they have these statues all over the place of a constant reminder, and we don't have them here in America. But that's okay. You don't need to actually see a statue. You just need to ask Jesus into your heart. And you know what? Happiness is a decision. It is a choice. And you can look at all the things you don't have and all the things that went wrong in your life and this and that. And I promise you there's going to be more things go wrong in your life. But I promise you there are so many things that's going to go right. And like Dakota said, even if nobody else loves you, I promise you God does. I can promise you I do. Some of you guys I've known for a couple years. Some of you guys a couple weeks. Some of you guys first time today. I still love you. Because I know you're a child of God and I know you're awesome. And I know Susan does, and I know each and every one of those adults in the back do, and that's why we do this, because we love you. And when no one else does, remember that we do, but especially God does. Your happiness does not hinge upon other people's approval. And when you stumble and fall, and I promise you you're going to, it's okay. We're going to help you stand up. But before we can put our hands down, I promise you God's hands are already there trying to help you up. See, a lot of people don't understand when I worship, sometimes my hands are up like this when I'm worshiping. And if you look at a child, little bitty child, what do they do when they want their mommy and daddy? What do I need when I need God most in my life? I need God more than anything else in the world. Because I know no matter what, my Father loves me. And sometimes I just need a big spiritual hug. Sometimes I'm a jerk. Sometimes I'll let you down. But He still loves me. And I promise you, I'm going to let you down. But I still love you. And you may let me down. I still love you. We're human. And like Dakota says, it's not your home. I don't know if I would have used the term such a crappy gas station. But it comes together. I kind of understand it. So do me a favor, as Kyle and those guys come up, we're going to sing one more song. Start to think about where you are in your life. Are you unhappy? If you're unhappy, listen, stop. That's exactly where the devil wants you to be. The devil wants you to sit and tell yourself that you're not pretty, you're not handsome, you're not strong, you're not thin enough, you're not this enough, you're not that. You know what? You are enough. You were created in God's image, and you know what? We all look different. That's because God needs you to look that way. If you all look like me, you'd be good looking. But it'd get kind of old, wouldn't it? I mean, we'd all have this belly cul-de-sac. Listen, you need to be happy because, listen, I want you to understand one thing. God created you a certain way. And He's created somebody of the opposite sex a certain way. And those characteristics you've got, whether it's physical or the way you talk or act or humor, is going to attract the other person that God created for you as a match. It's not going to create everybody, but it's going to create and attract the person that God created for you. So don't be disappointed in who you are, because God made you exactly the way you are for that other person that God made you exactly who you're supposed to be with. So be happy with who you are. You can't control everybody. You can't control your parents. You can't control your teachers. But you can control yourself, and you can control your happiness. And if there is hurt and unforgiveness in your heart, then you need to let it go. You can do it right where you sit. You can do it in a prayer room. You can do it on the van. We're in Magic Mountain tonight. Anyway, listen, I know I was the biggest carrier of hurt when I was your age. And some of you guys are doing it, and you feel like you're doing it so secretly. And I'm telling you, I stand here and I look in your eyes, and I know exactly where you're at. And I'm not going to force it on you, nothing else, but I got to let you know. When you're ready, we're here. When you're ready.
This goes back. Listen, little middle school children. Listen. This goes back to Dakota talking about forgiveness. You can't be happy